coding, then I'll send it to you. Now in box plot, well, roughly the box contains components. Now those components are very easy to find from data. Now the box contains Q3, which is this line, median, Q2, and Q1 over here. And we have something called whiskers on the right-hand side, left-hand side of the box, and outliers. And how we used to find them, we have to calculate something called boundaries. We have a lower boundary, we have an upper boundary. And the upper boundary, it's calculated by Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. And this is 1.5 is not fixed. They may change it. Like in here standard, if they didn't say anything, it's 1.5. And the lower boundary is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Hella, any data more than this upper boundary, that's an outlier. Any data less than the lower boundary, that's another outlier. And sometimes outlier or outliers, the lower outlier, the upper outlier, sometimes they are not there. Sometimes nothing. There is no outliers at all. Now the whiskers, the first data before the upper boundary, that's a whisker. Okay, and the other whisker, the smaller whisker, is the first boundary greater than the first data greater than the lower boundary, that's a whisker. Okay, those are whiskers. Now for the skewness, if the data صف الشطار, this is 0, this is 100%. زي صف الشطار مثلا, that's the tail to the left, means that's a negative skew. Okay, and if the tail was to the right, that's a positive skew. And if the distribution was normally, means what? Means both sides are about to be equal, there is no skew. That's called normal distribution, where we don't have a skewness, or the skewness is very weak, to be more accurate. Now, in this kind of negative skew, the median, which is Q2, in the top of the distribution, Q3, and Q1. As you can see, the distance between Q3 and Q1 and between Q2, Q3 is smaller than, means we say that Q3 minus Q2 is less than Q2 minus Q1. That's a negative skew. And when the Q2 and Q1 and Q3, when the distance between Q3 minus Q2 is greater than Q2 minus Q1, we say that that's a positive skew. And when the distance, as you can see, that's Q2, that's Q3, that's Q1, when Q3 minus Q2 is the same تقريبا, يعني the difference is 0.01, 0.1, very small. Q2 minus Q1, they are about to be equal. That's a normal distribution called normal. هذا chapter كامل لحاله in the end of the book, آخر chapter. So the skewness is calculated in this way. The skewness, is it a positive or a negative? We do it in this way. To calculate the value of the skewness has a value. There is a rule, 3 times mean, if we have a mean, minus median, median, over standard deviation SD. As you can see from this value of skewness, if the mean is greater than median, that's a positive. If the mean less than median, that's a negative skew. فهاي تعطيني value للskewness. هذا الرول. Okay, those two calculations gives you, is it positive or negative skew? Now let's come to an example for box plot from your book. موجود عندكم في الكتاب examples, right? Box plot page that's a probability. Yes, page 38 تقريبا. افتحوا لي الكتاب please. 38. It's not 38. Those are datas, box plot. First of all, calculate that you want. Question number 4, as you can see, can you see this in front of me? There is question 4, page 40, please. Awesome. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, yes,
Yes, sir.
As you can see, we have 30 different threads of dog. Are shown below. 13, 15, 16, 19. They are already arranged for you. لو ما كانوش arranged, we have to arrange them. We have 30. So how we can calculate the median, the Q2? How we can calculate Q2?
30 over 2.
You are trying to find what?
Equal اللي هو الميديان.
Position of median.
15th place.
Yes. So
أو لا يعني إنه
2 equals 15. لكن لأنهم even number of data.
15.5 for 16.
اللي هي you will take the 15th data plus the 16th data divided by 2. The 15th plus, that's not 15, it's 15th TH. Okay, the 15th data, which is when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 لحد هنا 15. Now this is the 15th data and this is the 16th data. That's at 26 plus 27 divided by 2. That's at 26.5, not 15.5. So the median over here, the Q2, سجلوها عندكم لأنه هذا بنمحي بعد شوي. 26.5. Okay. So how we can find Q1 يا هبة? Q1.
بس أستاذ صح لو طلعت 15.5 بتطلع 26.5 يعني إنه
لا، في عندك
26.5.
50، في عندك position 15.5. يعني عمري قلت إنه والله أنت طلعت على الصف مثلا.
هو لا بس.
You cannot. Yes, you cannot at all. So position of Q1. What is يا هبة position of Q1? How we can calculate position of Q1? هبة. ملك.
1 over 4n.
1 over 4n. That is 30 over 4. How much? 7.5.
7.5.
Yes. That's a 30 divided by 4. That's a 7.5. And there is no position 0.5. So we round to the highest.
Round to 8.
So the first
22.
That's your Q1. Q1 is 22. Now position of Q3 is what?
3 over 4n.
3 over 4 times n, which is equals to
22.5.
22.5 round to the highest, that is 23. So 23rd, the data is 23rd. So 23rd data 15 15
38.
20
Houston.
data 38.
38.
So Q3 is equal to 38. Now, so we have those data. All we need to do now is to calculate for the outliers. So calculations for the upper bound Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. And what is IQR?
Q3 minus Q1.
Yes, Q3 minus Q1. يلا اعملي هاي على الكالكوليتر one shot هيك minus Q1 22 كم تطلع؟
62.
Equals 62. Now, so Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, which is equal to Q1 is 22 minus 1.5 times 38 minus 22 كم؟
Negative 2.
Negative 2. طيب إذا الداتا أنا عندي الداتا all of those data the upper bound bound the lower bound for that's a 62, that's a negative 2. Now do we have a data more than 62? Look at the data.
No.
No. So there is no outliers over here. Do we have a data less than negative 2?
No.
No, there is no outliers. Now, what is the whiskers? What is the smallest data less than 62?
13
and 48.
48. So that's a 48 whisker, and that's a 13 whisker. That's a 13. So your box plot, بنعمل number line. The highest data, the lowest data 13. The highest is, let me start from 10. Then that's a 10, 20, 30, and 40, and 50. And 50. Then the Q2, 26. 26 somewhere here. The Q1, 22 somewhere here. And the Q3, 38 somewhere here. So that's obvious. We have a skewness. والسkewness واضح. That's a 62. 62. That's a 62. That's the boundary. لكن الويسكر تبعها كان 48. That's a 48. There is no outliers. And the lower is 13. That's 13 somewhere here. That's the box plot. That's how to do the box plot. Skewness, as you can see. If you want to do the skewness in this way, أنا برسم data, as you can see. That's the very. So the Q3, my skewness to the right, that's a positive skew. Positive skew. لأنه التيل موجود على اليمين. Median distance between the median and Q3 much larger than median and Q2 and Q1. So that's a positive skew. Any questions?
No.
لا يا أستاذ.
زيد هبة معانا هبة ولا بس حاطة المايك ورايحة؟ هبة معانا؟ آية معانا؟
Yes. Yes.
اوكي هبة
معكم.
اوكي انا I thought انه فاتحة المايك ورايحة صار لي ساعة بنادي هبة تحل لنا السؤال. Okay, anyway, so that's one of the questions of the box plot. Stem and leaf diagram. Now as we, yes.
في chapter 2 في إشي هيك اس تيجي اكس صغيرة.
هاي لسه حناخدها، ما اخذناها لسه حناخدها.
أستاذ كثير امبارح اجيت احل باس بيبر كل شيء تطلع لي انصدم ازعل واسكر.
يا ساتر يا رب.
ازعل
لا مش
بتحطم البني
هاي
ادم.
حتكون في chapter 5 تقريبا. chapter 5 حتكون موجودة وسهلة يعني ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله.
Okay, مثلا stem and leaf diagram, as you can see, We have two groups. That's called back-to-back stem and leaf, back-to-back. And back-to-back stem and leaves, أول شيء we have the 10th digit, which is combined between the two groups. We have 8 10th digits لحد 9 مثلا, starting from the lowest is 5. So, and there is a 4 here, that's why we'll start with the في عندي 5, في عندي 9, في عندي. So we have started with 4 because we have a 4 here, 4, 5, that's the 10th digit. Now when I say boys, 80, 80, 80. When I say 60, 60. When I say 91, 91, and so on. So the girls is the same. When I say 55, 55. Okay. When I say 80, that's an 80, 80. Okay. And there has to be a key. And the key should indicate لأنه هاي عليه ممكن تكون عليها علامة أو علامتين الكي. Means that's 40 girls, 46 boys. The key shows for the reader how to read the data. Okay. Now it's the same thing for position of Q1 and position of Q2, position of Q3. We can count and we can find the Q1, Q2, and we can draw box plot for each one of those. Okay. Do anyone has a difficulty in stem and leaf?
لا أستاذ.
لا يا أستاذ.
No.
تمام. Now, for example, the upper quartile, then sketching box plot for those data. Now the histogram, شايفين هذا الرول؟ هذا الرول تبع 3 mean minus median over standard deviation to calculate the value of the skewness. The value of the skewness. Now the frequency tables, a histogram, as you know, the area under graph gives you the frequency. Yani I can tell what is the frequency for this rectangle from
The frequency over class width.
Yes, frequency over class width. Frequency density equals frequency over class width. Now, in case frequency is given, just like this example, which is 1, frequency density is 1. So we can find the frequency. The frequency is frequency density times class width, which is the area of the rectangle. That is 10 times 1. 10 times 1 is 10. That's the frequency. So here we have 10 data. And from 70 to 80, that's a 10 times 3.5, that's a 35 frequencies. From 80 to 90, that's another 10. And as we can see, it's 5.5, that's a 55. And from 10 to, that's a 10, with 90 to 100, that's a 10. And 10 times 2, that's a 20 data. So we can construct our frequency table even. 60 to 70 and 70 to 80. Remember, there is no gap here, right? 80 to 90, 90 to 100. Now in this case, we can write down the frequencies to calculate the mean, median, and standard deviation, and just like that. I'll go back to standard deviation right now. So is that clear for histograms?
Yes.
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 Okay. Now I will go to the comparing data. Compare between two data. They may ask you which data is better for something, or so according to the box plot you can check. The median gives you the average. يعني لما أقول في صف, there is a classroom, and both classrooms, they have their math exam, and the median in the first classroom is 60 out of 100. The median in the second classroom is 40 out of 100. مين الصف الأحسن in the average?
الصف اللي عنده رينج أقل.
ليش؟ مش
لأن
range.
positive
I'm not talking about
skewness.
range. I'm talking about median. الميديان اللي هو الافريج. talks about median.
الهاير افريج.
الهاير افريج هو الصف الافضل. okay, when we compare between the data. Now, look at this question, for example. Now, question number 6, page 51. Question 6, page 51. It talks about a story of data. So I don't care about the story. Now we have a mass. As you can see, there is no gap here. And calculate on a draw histogram, okay? Estimate the mean, standard deviation, and this is given. ما بده إياك إنك تقعد تطلعهم وتحسب y square وتحسب كذا. الواي الاديشن تبعها المين. What is the rule for the mean for frequency tables? Who can remember the mean? Mean. Hello.
F of x over f.
Sum of fx over
Sum of
f.
f of x over
Yes,
f.
over f.
Sum of f.
هيها موجودة هون موجودة هون. All you need to do is to work with your calculator. 98.85 divided by sum of frequencies. How much is that? كم الفريكونسيز عندي هون? Sample of 50 bags. It's supposed to be 50. So that's a 50, then we will get the mean. Now standard deviation, SD. هو بده standard deviation ولا variance? Standard deviation, SD. Which is square root of the variance. Square root of the variance. Sum of x squared divided by sum of f. Minus mean squared. Minus mean squared. So the sum of fy squared is already here. So that's a square root of 19602.84 divided by 50, number of data, minus the mean squared, اللي هي 988.85 divided by 50 squared. Then we calculate the standard deviation, then find the skewness. We have the mean, median, standard deviation. الميديان كيف بنطلعه؟ Enter.
Enter.
interpolation.
We will
أيوة.
interpolate. How we do interpolation.
بس لازم نطلع اللي cumulative
صح.
لازم
Position.
نطلع
frequency
الابر باوند يا
بالأول
استاذ.
والupper bound.
صح. شو رايكم؟ upper bound طبعا لأنه most of the data شايفينها لتحت شوي. اوكي. احنا قلنا most of the data لما تكون لتحت شوي we would use the upper bound. It's safer. أو مش راضي ينزل عندي تحت. هلا بنزل. Okay. So we will choose the upper bound cumulative frequency table. يعني عندي الداتا هون. What is the upper bound here?
14.8.
تمام.
ما فيش ديفرنس.
ما فيش difference. So 14.8, then 18, then 18.5, then 20, then 20.4, 20.4, and 21.0. And the cumulative frequency?
1.
1.
1.
No, yes, 1. صح, كمل.
6.
6.
12.
12. 32.
34.
Huh?
34.
34. Okay.
49.
49, 50.
50.
Now,
Yes.
position of median. Position of median is what?
N over 2.
Median. That's n over 2. That's a 50 over
25.
That's a 25. So what is the position of 25 over here? 25 موجودة بين.
Between 12 and 34.
That's a 25. So the median supposed to be between 20. Now this slice, we will do interpolation for this. يعني something equals something. So start with the letter M, median minus 20.
M minus 20.
أيوة, over.
Over 22 minus 20.
Minus 20. And the same thing we'll do for the other side. 25 minus 12 over 34 minus 12. Then we calculate the median. And it's supposed to be a data between 20 and 20.2, which is very small range. يعني كم ده تطلع تقريبا. When you do this, please multiply high times high divided by 34 minus 12 plus 20 plus 20. So the median equals, find it please.
يلا
20.118.
20.1. شايفين كيف قديش صغيرة؟ 20.118, which is فعليا, yes, it's between 20 and 20.2. That's totally
Yes.
correct. Then we can find the mean, median, standard deviation for all of those.
Yes.
Okay.
تمام أستاذ.
And then يعني هذا كلياته اللي بيحكي عن عن the whole topics of those two chapters. It talks about all of those things.
أستاذ
Yes.
امتحان تبع الشهر الأول عندك إياه؟
في المدرسة كأنه.
خلاص بدي أشوف أغلاطي ولا إشي.
أنت عارف صارت يعني الأمور بسرعة في الفصل الأول. فاردين the x is x bar, which is the mean equals sum of x's divided by n, and the variance, or let's say the standard deviation على طول square root. So the standard deviation SD is given by square root sum of x squared divided by n minus the mean squared. So the mean and the mean daily temperature in the 2 years, then find the standard deviation. أو لا 2015 already حاسب لك إياها. Compare the mean daily temperature in the 2 years. We need to compare between them. Recorded temperature is considered normal for the time of the year if it is within one standard deviation of the mean. إيش يعني one standard deviation of the mean؟ إحنا حكينا في هذا الحكي قبل هيك.
حكينا عنه.
Yes. قلنا المين هون, and if I have one standard deviation within the mean means plus SD, 1 SD minus 1 SD. لأنه one standard deviation. Normal, it's normal within one standard deviation. مرات بقول لك 2 standard deviation معناها plus 2 times standard deviation, which you will get from here. Within means plus minus. إذا قال 2 standard deviation معناها 2 times SD, 2 times negative SD. Okay. So this is normal of the year within one standard deviation of the mean estimate for how many days in April it's normal. So we will see x bar plus standard deviation, x bar minus standard deviation, and we can get the limits for what is normal, what is called normal. Okay. So that's the meaning of one standard deviation, and sometimes in the book 2 standard deviation of the mean. هلا يعني it's kind of simple and easy to know your notations and to know what is the meaning of this sentence. Okay. Any questions about this? احنا وضحناها قبل. شايفين هون بيعمل لك K Q3 plus K, that is 1.5 standard, لكن مرات ممكن تكون 2 ممكن تكون 1 that K على حسب, لازم يحكي لك بالسؤال هذا الاشي. البروبابيليتي احنا دخلنا فيه المرة اللي فاتت وعملنا shading. الشيدنج, do you have any problem with shading?
لا.
لا أستاذ.
So I'll include shading question مع الامتحان تبعكم. Okay.
هسه أستاذ كيف بدنا نعمل شيدنج بالامتحان؟
هلا انا اي بريفير انه يعني جريد 12 مثلا اعطيتهم الامتحان وكانوا يحلوا على ورق ويبعتوها صور على الواتساب. تمام. لما يبعتها صورة طبعا في الاخير هو حط كل الصور على وورد دوكيمنت واحد and he sent the word document كلياته عشان انا اعمل برنت اوت واصلحه اخليه دوكيمنت. تمام. ما تبعت لي
تمام.
صورة لما تصور كوبي بيست على وورد دوكيمنت واكتب اسمك عليه وابعت لي اياه الوورد دوكيمنت كامل على الواتساب. ابعت لي اياه. اوكي. بعمل له برنت اوت وبصلحه ان شاء الله. هلا اوكي. يعني في توبيك